Hey everyone, Mandy Lea here. Well, it has been about 1 year since we've had our new 2024 Tab 400 from New Camp. Obviously, when we first got it, everything was brand new, just like every other one, so we didn't really take you on a tour of it. But now that we've had it for a year, we've done some mods, we have some cool accessories, and I just want to show everything we've done to our camper, starting on the outside, kind of moving in. So first thing I want to point out is our custom graphics. On one side we have a silhouette of the Flatirons, which is where Kendrick and I had our first date. And on the other side we have a silhouette of Long's Peak in Colorado, which is the background of where Kendrick and I got married. So to us it really means a lot. What about the name Gunny? Well, we did get the Black Canyon package, which some of you might be familiar with. But the Black Canyon, and coming from Colorado, kind of reminds us of the Black Canyon of the Gunnison. So for short, we called him Gunny. Now, one of our favorite first, not necessarily mods, but kind of custom pieces is our license plate. We went ahead and got something custom that says M and K, for the obvious, and easy to remember too. Now let's talk about some of the other more practical mods we've made on the outside. Please know that I will be linking in the description below either a video to the mods or the accessory that you need on our Amazon associate page, because every time you click those links, it really helps us stay on the road. All right, so here we are on the front end of our camper. Let's talk a little bit about towing, first of all. It's not necessarily required, but one thing we totally recommend for the money is getting a sway bar. This is about $100 and it's so super easy to use, and it gives you such a peace of mind. It keeps your trailer from doing that kind of fishtail sway that you might run into. So that's number one thing we recommend. The second thing we really love is our Jacky Up jack. It's because we tow with a truck, and when we're hooked up, we can't put the tailgate of our truck down. And so having this Jacky Up, what it does is once you hook up to your vehicle, you can actually take this entire jack out, put it in the back of your vehicle, and it gives you more clearance on the bottom, so you won't bottom out when you're going through those big dips. And then again, also it allows you, if you have a truck, to open your tailgate. And then when you get to camp, you just stick it back in, crank it up, and voila, you're right there. So the Jacky Up has been magical for us. Another thing in towing is we really enjoy our Curt brake controller. It's Bluetooth, it plugs in, it's not wired in, it's not hardwired in, and so it's really easy to use, especially if you're switching between tow vehicles, which we've done before. Sometimes we borrow my parents' car, and it's great because you can use it on every tow vehicle. Next up, let's talk about this awesome setup we have on the tongue of our trailer. The New Camp trailer came with this great tongue box, but we had these additional 2 tongue boxes added by Biscuit Metal Designs. They fit absolutely perfect. They're the same size, and they give you so much more covered weatherproof storage. So in one of them, we like to keep our shoes because our shoes are super stinky, especially Kendrick's, and I can't handle having them inside the camper. And then the other is dedicated to all the other outdoor stuff, like our chalks, our blocks, our black tank, hose, all that kind of gross stuff that you don't want in the camper or in the truck. Next up, inside of the box that came with the New Camp, it came set up for 1 propane tank with some extra storage. But what we decided to do was put in a propane tank splitter so that we can have 2 propane tanks, and we can just simply switch between the 2 when one runs out and the other is full. So this is really convenient, especially when we're dry camping and it's cold and we need to run the heater. Having the 2 propane tanks is key. Then on the front, you might notice this weird PVC pipe right here. What is that for? That is for a flagpole. So it's an easy flagpole mount, so we don't have to screw anything in or screw anything out. When we land, we can just put our flagpole in and throw our flagpole up. Why do we have a flagpole, you might ask? Well, we recently got a Starlink, and we have found that putting that Starlink on a flagpole to get it up above some of the trees or bushes or obstacles is really convenient, and you can also turn it whatever direction you need to turn it to make it work the best. Now we have this great flagpole mount for our Starlink that goes on top, goes all the way up. Well, we started by having to run that Starlink cables into our window. And that worked fine, and that was not a big deal. But The other mod we did was we actually created a Starlink port by drilling a hole and inserting the Starlink plug-in so that we have an outdoor plug for our Starlink, which goes on the inside, which I'll show you in a minute, to the router and the power supply. We'll make a whole nother video on that, but this is one of our favorite mods. Okay, with all that being said, let me show you some of the goodies we've done on the inside. So here I am sitting inside of our super cozy camper. And the first thing I know everyone's gonna notice is look at this freaking beautiful table we have. We replaced the standard table with a custom made table by Bear Claw Carpentry. I will link in the description below to them, but they made this amazing river table for us. And I requested that the table be 5 inches longer than the standard table because Kendrick and I sit here and we work a lot. We don't really need the extra room to move around. So we just thought having a longer table would be helpful. And it has been. It has been so great to have the extra length in this table. Now, I know one thing you guys are wondering from the outside of the camper where we put that Starlink port. And we put it there for a very specific reason because it can come through right behind the seat. And this is a 2024 400, but it's the same in several of the 400s. But the beautiful thing about that is where it comes through is right behind the seat where there's several inches of extra space. So we were able to mount the router and the power supply in here so we never have to pack them up. Whether we have the Starlink plugged in or not, we leave these here all the time. They travel here, we don't have to pack them up and unpack them. It's the perfect spot for them. That being said, how do we get power back here? Well, one of our other mods is that we've added some extra outlets. So we split from the outlet at the foot down here, and we added 2 extra outlets under the table right here because this is where we sit and we work, we charge our phones, we charge our laptops. We need the extra power without cords dragging all over. And when we did that, we also added an outlet up right here where the Starlink comes in so the Starlink can be plugged in here all the time. And when we did that, we thought, well, hey, why not just put a cord going up into this back cubby and put a power strip back here? So back in this window, in this extra space, we have a power strip where we can charge things. It plugs into the outlet right here where our Starlink also plugs in. And we've added the 2 extra outlets under the table. So we have all the power we need without having cords strung all over the place. Next up, I want to bring attention to this thing that you all might see in many of my YouTube videos kind of behind me. It is my favorite weather station. It's basically an Acurite thermometer. It's got one built-in thermometer that tells you the interior temperature where the unit's at, and then it has 3 extra remotes that you can put wherever you want. I like to put one outside, one in my freezer, and one in my fridge so that I know if anything's going wonky in there, my food's gonna go bad, I'm gonna figure it out. It's USB powered, absolutely one of my favorite accessories. All right, moving into the rest of our camper, let's talk about the bathroom. So I am a fairly short person. I'm 5'3.5". That's important. And one thing I noticed is that the placement and the size of the mirror that comes in the bathroom basically cuts me off at my chin. So what I did in Little Bear, our last camper, was I actually purchased a larger mirror and I replaced the mirror with a larger mirror. We sold that with Little Bear. So in this camper, I had Little Bear's old mirror. So I just added that extra mirror here. And now I get, if I stand back, I can see almost down to my waist, which is kind of awesome. I loved adding just a larger mirror, an extra mirror, whatever you want to do there in the bathroom is pretty awesome. Now, to be honest, there's not a lot we've done in the kitchen, except one major upgrade, which is our sink. We wanted a larger, easier to use, more functional sink with a higher faucet, make it easier to do dishes. So I'm going to have another video about this sink mod, but it is absolutely one of our favorite things we've done. So not only did we put in the larger sink, but we then made a cutting board cover for that sink. And that has been absolutely wonderful in our kitchen, making it more usable. The next thing we did was we actually removed the divider that went right here. We felt it made everything a little bit smaller, made this space a little more impractical to use. So we did nothing more than just take that little divider out. Now that gives you a better view into this television that we have. So the 2024 Tab 400s came with a 110 Jensen TV. It was not a smart TV, and 110 is really not the most efficient way to do it. We ordered this Sylvox 12 volt smart TV. So now not only are we running on 12 volts, but we also get a smart TV, so we can just connect to the internet, connect to all the apps we need without having to have any sort of in-between Roku, Fire Stick, anything like that. Now there is a video about the switch out of that TV on our YouTube channel as well. All right, now here we are in our bedroom, and I want to show you two cool things. At the foot of our bed, under the TV, we've added these two baskets, which just really help with extra storage. They don't get in the way of our feet. We each get a basket. It's like having a whole nother drawer for whatever. I usually keep my hats and my scarves and my warm stuff in it because it's just a great place to have it. But anything you want convenient, super great place, extra storage, just to utilize that. Now at the head of our bed, we have these two silver squares. What are they, you might ask? They are our fancy cup holders. That's right, of course, at the head of your bed. If you want to take water, anything else to bed, it's nice to have a spot to keep those. So we screwed it right into this solid piece of wood. So they're really strong. And then of course they do collapse in case they get in your way. I love, love, love those cup holders. All right, and finally a couple of super quick, easy things, which I'm gonna call mods because you do have to technically screw them into the wood, but they're super easy, is putting a key hook right next to the door. We not only use it for keys, but you can use it to hang whatever you want. Since it's screwed into the wood, it's pretty strong if you need to hang a jacket or something like that. And one more thing is, where do you put your stupid paper towels? You need them, and everybody knows I love my Viva paper towels because they don't roll and tumble and fall while you're driving. So I love my Viva paper towels. But we debated putting them up here above the sink, which is where we had them in Little Bear, but they kind of ruined the view out the window. We didn't want to do that. So finally, we ended up putting it up here above all the controls. It's high enough to where Kendrick doesn't hit his head on it when he comes in. I obviously don't hit my head. You can just reach up, grab a paper towel if you need one, and I absolutely just love that location for the paper towels. And there you have it. That's a tour of Gunny and the mods that we have made in the first year of traveling around. We have loved traveling in Gunny so much. Our 2024 Tab 400 with the lithium upgrade and the Black Canyon package, it's been absolutely magical. And these little mods help us make it a little more like home. So here's to making your Tab teardrop your own. Love and light. Okay.